Thank you. Thank you. Hello. So anyway, I'm John Lemkool. I own pluginguru.com. That's this fun little website. We have over 80, I think 90 libraries now for all sorts of plugins, including our own plugin UNIFY, which is on sale for $20 off. UNIFY hardly ever goes on sale. I think this is like maybe the 5th or 6th time in 4 years it has been on sale. So it's very rare. 2 libraries for $19. There's the free ReCycle LITE Library. There is an update for UNIFY. It's a public beta 1.11.1. If you are using Apple Silicon, it is a much more pleasant experience now. The CPU spikes that happened at random times, those are no longer an issue for me. For other people that we've checked in and worked with on the beta team, they haven't had problems. It's been much smoother. Unfortunately, it seems that the Juice development team that makes the framework underneath UNIFY, we had to update. One of the things, the reason this is a public beta, as we call it, is because we're not sure of a few things. Because Shane had to basically, it's like taking a modular patch and disconnecting it and then reconnecting it in a whole different system in a different country and hoping it works. And so that had to happen in order for Shane to use this latest build framework of Juice. And so everything is different. You shouldn't notice any difference, but just know that the huge amount of work behind the scenes by Shane has been done to get us to where we're here. And we're finding out only now that Windows 9 and I believe 11.7, which is not that Big Sur, right? I think that's Big Sur, and older are not compatible with this build of UNIFY. And we're looking to see if there's things we can do to change that, if there's things the Juice team can do that to change that, or the reasons behind that. It might be that because of what they're having to do to get Apple Silicon support, they had to use different libraries which didn't exist in those older operating systems. That's very possible because the goal, of course, is to work with the newer computer operating systems. And Apple, they love to do this. This is not the first time they've done this, when they went from Motorola processors to Intel processors. And now they've done this big leap over a canyon again, and they're leaving everybody that was on Intel processors in the dust because the new OS is Apple Silicon based. And there's lines in the sand starting to show up. Operating systems are definitely going to be cutting, and so it's unfortunate. And I'm sorry. We've gotten an email from a number of you guys. I think we're looking at doing one more version of UNIFY for older OS people. That would be like 1.10.3, so that there's a really important issue that I found when I was making the Vocalesque library. I was making pads, and I was making vocal airy with the master effect EQ, and then I would call the patch back up, and it wasn't as airy. It was a little bit airy, but it didn't have the same air that I wanted it to have originally. And it turns out that there was a misread of data for this Flex EQ. There's inside under the hood, there's both the dB and then there's another value for gain. And it was reading back the dB value, but interpreting it to another value, which was like 30% of what it's supposed to be. So instead of being nice and airy, we were losing the air. So and this is something that's been there since the beginning. I didn't, that's without, that's with. But I hardly use, it's like the smallest amount of EQ on the master effects almost always, right? So it never was a situation that came up where I noticed it. Nobody else has come back and said, hey, I made this thing and it doesn't, nobody ever reported this in 4 years. So, we never did. Exactly the reason why I switched to rain. Well, yeah, some people switch to Windows but Windows, they're going ARM as well. So everybody's going to these new ways of using computer processors. So nobody is immune from this. There's Windows 9 support isn't there anymore. As so this problem happens on Windows as well. This is not just a Mac only thing. As computers come up with new ways of doing things, they do have to draw lines with some of the older versions of things. Anyway, welcome. I am really excited to get to have a little chat with a dear friend of mine. Before I bring her on, let me show you something. I've released a demo version, I guess I would call it, of this that you guys could download. How many of you guys downloaded and played the 2-track version to compare? Did any of you guys do that? I spent a lot of time mixing it, so I hope somebody did. This is a demo song that Kathie started and did like 90% of this, and then I came in and did a little production and I did a percussion track and a few things. But this is an incredible piece. Kathie Talbot is the vocalist behind the Vocalesque Library. She is also behind the voice behind Creature-esque for Omnisphere like 5 years ago. Not yet. Download but did not listen. Well, don't worry. I'm going to show you right now. And I'm going to show you even a better version because this has... If I can... My camera is right in the way of this. So here, get out of the way. Move a little bit. So this has all this gold tracks are the other. And all the blue tracks, the purple tracks, these are all unified layers with different patches that Kathie came through and put together for this demo song. And her forte, she started as just a singer. She was the first singer I worked with when Logic became able to record audio. Like, that was 33 years ago, right? Kathie? Oh, I think Kathie's not there. Is Kathie there?
Yes.
She's there. Well, here, let's pop you up to say hi to everybody really quick, okay? You ready to say hi?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody, say hello to Kathie Talbot. Hi, Kathie.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. She now lives in Mexico City. And, boy, that lipstick's awesome. You've got it going. It's good. Looks great.
That's how I do.
That's how you do, girl. Anyway, Kathie is this incredible singer that I've been friends with for 33 and a half years. And she started as a singer working in the studio while I'm like at the computer. And now she does these incredible cinematic trailers that are used for major campaigns. All sorts of incredible opportunities have come her way. And she is an incredible musician. And musician in the sense of not just vocalist. It used to be just vocalist, but now it's... How are you?
Vibe, baby, vibe.
There you go.
That's how I do.
That's how you do. Well, here, let's play your track, okay? Everybody's saying hi, Kathie, so hi.
Hi. I can't see anybody saying hi.
Oh, if you're on YouTube, you could see...
Oh.
There's a chat here. I can send you the link. I'll send you this.
Yeah, I would love that.
Because people aren't joining us.
I'm just looking at you.
Right. Yeah, here. Let me go to our little thing here.
If it's not too complex.
No. Just look at this in the background while I'm playing the demo track, all right? So check this out, guys. This is our song this is Ghost, okay? And then we'll play it. We're actually going to play it 3 times or 2 times. But I want you to hear everything, and then we'll do it again where you hear just what UNIFY is doing, and we'll sneak in a little bit every now and then what everybody else is doing so you could hear it. But check this out. I'm going to mute my microphone so I'm quiet too.
It says...
That doesn't sound quite right. Let's do this. I'm going to pack this all into a folder. I'll play the demo that I get you guys some downloads. So pack that. For some reason, the audio's, there's something not exactly sure why. So let's go over here. Show in Finder. So, watch this. Go boom, boom, boom. Hello. Let's get track 1 and track 2. And come over here. And we'll say create new tracks. There's a sample rate conversion. Oh, you know what? Logic might be. Oh, that's frustrating. Audio is probably 44. Yeah. Great. That's what the problem was. Okay. Well, it fixed it. So let's see. Let's turn this off. Okay. So here's the demo track. Sorry about that. One more time. Isn't that cool? So, kind of a hybrid of a cinematic and a song at the same time. But it's got some really, really cool stuff. Unfortunately, when I play this, my microphone goes away. I haven't figured out where in Logic to re-enable this. It used to be not like this, but right now it's that way. But check this out. I'm going to play from right here. Right here. This is all multiple tracks, all these magenta tracks down here. This is all these parts playing that Kathie came up with from various patches. You can see the names of the patches that were used. She's using the Latin phrases and then going between one Latin phrase and another to get these wonderful And then the cinematic side, just so you know, all the other things Kathie did to put this together is. So without the voice, it's just really solid. She's got great groove here. So anyway, if you want, the link to download the files are for these two stems. So you can study what it takes to make a cinematic trailer. Because this is what Kathie does full-time for her bread and butter. And it's amazing what she does. So let's go back to Kathie. Hello.
Hello. Oh, by the way,
yes.
What I'm doing, I can't. It won't let me live stream. So what I'm doing is toggling back and forth with the window from YouTube and here with you. Right.
It
so
gets
I'm sorry
to be.
If I'm not answering anything.
It's kind of a fun. It's hard to talk and then look over to see what people are saying. You know, I mean, some of these guys that do this, they have a whole other team behind them that, you know, pop stuff up onto prompters and, you know, we are very simplified here. So anyway.
This is guerrilla audio.
It's guerrilla audio. We're doing it just the entrepreneurial one-person way, you know? So give us some background. Tell people a little bit about what inspired you. What was it that took from being a singing into working on trailer-esque music, which became your career?
You. No, you know, all those years I would just be in the studio with you for hours and hours. I mean, this was like, oh my God. I in the early 90s, by the way, I'm made of formaldehyde.
You look awesome, honey. No.
In the early 90s, and I was just, and then I started singing on commercials in the mid 90s, but it really accelerated in 97.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be in the studios there. And this one composer, I remember him saying to me, I never forgot it. He goes, "You're a great hang. You like to hang out here." And I said, "I love it." So I started taking the money I started making, singing on commercials. One of my first commercials was that Yo Quiero Taco Bell, if any of you guys are. And so isn't that ironic that now I live in this Spanish-speaking country because I was the female Hispanic dog.
Have you told people there that? And people have gone like, "Oh, I remember."
Yeah. So I did that. And then I started buying a few pieces of equipment. You encouraged me. Yeah. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. And I just started fooling around. And then just what happened was that one of the commercial music houses that I used to sing for heard some of the music and they said, "Do you want to have a stab at some of these that could be in your sort of electronic, you know, nature?" Because that was very, very popular in those years. All electronica, not a lot of acoustic. You were either indie or electro type of thing, or EDM rather.
Right.
So I started putting things together and I won, basically you win, a spot for Nissan, and I was getting utilized because I could sing.
Yes.
And I was putting together these tracks, and then as it got more sophisticated, I started collaborating with someone who played acoustic instruments, so it could become more. I needed to change with the times, especially in 2007. So I did that. And then this one other thing that got me into trailers was that I did vocal design back in 2011 for a Captain America film. And I was like making choirs and, look, everything I learned from you through osmosis or by you saying, hey, try this. I was, putting things into action without really knowing what I'm doing, frankly, until this year. This is the year everything has changed where I'm like, okay, I know what I do. So anyway, so I was represented by someone for music, for licensing, and they said sound design is becoming a big trend, and this was late 2011. So I started training myself, and it took a year.
Right.
And then to transition, and I was making tracks not knowing what I was doing. But then I got into projects like the trailers for Get Out in 2016, and my work was like the signature sound and used all throughout that trailer. And then so I mean,
right.
If you want to know more, I do have a web page where you could know more if you're
what is
interested. Oh, it's actually, should I write it in the chat?
Yeah, when we're done with the interview, you can put it in the chat if you want. Hey, I was going to play one of your tracks, like Vaulted Coven. Could they hear some of that?
That one was just used in an HBO
maybe not
series.
Maybe not then.
What? No, I don't care.
Yeah?
Nobody cares. Either that or use one of the cover songs that's just about to get out into the world.
Like Always There? Remind me?
Whichever one. I don't care. That's why I sent you a few.
Right. Okay. Well, here, let's put
this
over.
You got choices.
We got choices. So let me go over here and see what it's saying.
So this is all the new work really from this year, where I'm just going to throw this out to you. If you guys are composers, musicians, artists, sometimes it takes a really long time to find out who you are sonically.
Yes.
And it coincides with as a person too. So this is the year it happened. And I'm very cozy.
Yes. No. Well, here, I'll play, because we don't want to play the whole cue, but we'll play from here, maybe from like where the section breaks down. Check this out, guys. This is some of Kathie's work. I mean, it's just like, it's like putting your head in the wind tunnel.
It's so aggressive. I mean, they want every sound to feel bold.
Yes.
I mean,
but then
just
there's
crazy.
This dichotomy of that with your voice, which is what's really that kind of like the yin yang holds it together, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you. And all this wouldn't have started to happen unless, I thank God I've known you as my friend and like mentor. You've just been really important to me.
Well, and likewise. I mean, I appreciate our friendship very much. And
yeah, it's really cool.
We've shared
real cool.
Oh my gosh. So let's see here. What else? If anybody has any questions, how do you like Mexico City? Tell us how long as you're having your tea. Sorry to interrupt your cozy tea.
I had tea leaves in there. No, it's like let me tell you something. Making the move to here from Los Angeles was the best thing I could have done, and that's why I believe my growth has accelerated.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in the hub of LA where everybody's saying, hey, what are you working on? Everybody's an actor, everybody's Here, it's just humans and it's fun.
Well, there's so much unnecessary noise here, it seems. I have
Yeah.
friends that have moved to Portugal as well, and they're like, oh, to be free of just so much of your energy is spent just like all these messages popping up on your phone about political things and all the,
Yeah.
you don't have as much. Do you find there's less of that there?
I definitely stay aware of what's going on, but people keep saying to me, you have no idea how crazy it is.
Right.
Because I left a few months before the pandemic kicked in.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mexico City, I highly recommend if you're going to make a destination, you feel like you're in Europe here,
Right.
parts of Europe. It's amazing.
Yeah. I visited Kathie a couple years ago in San Miguel.
Yeah, not happening.
It's a nice place to visit. My daughter, I brought my daughter Hannah because she's took Spanish classes and she just loved the experience. But next year I'm going to come to Mexico City and get to see the Mexico City hang.
Oh yeah, it's so different.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So I have no idea what's being said or asked.
I know. I'm looking to see. Everybody's just ace, and that's so good. And do you guys want to hear a second of another track? I think
Play
they want to
them
hear
the
one more.
crazy one.
Which
The
one?
one that was used in the HBO, some of it.
Oh, the vaulted?
Yeah, just skip around.
Okay. Okay. This is another one that will wake you up if you haven't had coffee. You don't need coffee after this. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Here's Vaulted Coven. We'll start it from right here. See how it's like this unpredictable, unexpected, you don't know what's going to happen? But at some point you have to get to this intensity because, in the trailer, right? Something's going to be chasing you, all right? At some point you imagine that when you're creating these, Kathie? Because you're creating this before there's any image to it, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I don't really work on what they call customs that much because I don't want that pressure of 24 hours to 48. I hate that. It's like enough already.
Yeah.
So yeah, they may say, hey, Kathie, why don't you check out, this is what's trending a bit. And because of the fact that you're beginning to use your voice, do something like this, but obviously your own. And they're really nitpicky, these publishers. They kick my ass.
Right.
Woo!
Yeah. They kick it back to you. Yeah. It's like, okay, again, maybe like add some salsa here.
Or take that out, put that in, make an edit, because I'll just tell you guys something that when I was first really getting and working in this business, I wasn't doing enough hard edits. And editors will throw away a track before even listening if they don't see edits.
Right. They have to have things they can cut to on what they're doing. So you're like making it's like you're giving them the puzzle pieces to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. And they may focus on one sound, or they may focus on a section of the track, or use the whole thing and splice and dice.
Right. You never know when you're creating this how it's going to end up being used. So it's kind of an interesting, you're giving them as basically a plate of meat.
Yeah.
And then they get to dress it the way that they need for their dinner for whoever it is coming to dinner, right?
Yeah. And important to not come from ego with like a publisher or anyone. You just have to be game.
Right.
You have to be game. It's a collaboration in a way.
Right.
Well,
right.
in a lot of way.
Yeah. What do you mean hard edits?
Where you'll hear like the silence for a second, so people can literally cut.
Right.
They
Here,
can
I'll
cut.
play a little bit here in the beginning, and you'll hear where it starts and stops. It's like they're different ideas. See right there where everything stopped? So they could use that to cut and like with different pictures of the, it gives you those ability to like, you're giving him audio description of something they could make a picture of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a talent, and you've been at this for
hard.
It's hard work.
Woo.
And what I really love, there's one of the tracks that I love because it got so, I think is it Real
Feeling
Science?
good?
Real Science, I think. There's one of them.
Yeah.
It just gets so intense, but it feels like it's a song at the same time. Here, I'll just play a little bit of this, but just check out how thick in the elements Kathie goes here. It's like cinematic meets. I love that. I love that vibe. That's just such a cool track.
Thank you.
There's so much.
I love hip hop, you guys. You wouldn't think with this haircut. Hi, I like hip hop. Hippity hoppity.
Hippity hoppity.
I love it though.
Yeah. It's great, man. How many people are singing in that? That's all you singing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot of people singing, but it's all Kathie.
Yeah, you try and make yourself a little bit of a different personality.
Right, and there's a video I want to. Well, here we can talk about this for a minute. Inside of Vocalesque, Kathie sent me these tracks, just some of the things that she had done, and I would go through and I would find a note that she sang. And like some of these, let me find here, like Oz in Heaven. This came from one sample. And then I used Melodyne and I shifted it and I used the formant and other parameters to make 6 other samples.
Wow.
So it sounds like a whole choir, but it's all Kathie. But it's different samples that I process with Melodyne slightly different. So that's all Kathie, but it came from processing just a single sample that I found from her. Same with Sleepy Time. People love Sleepy Time. This came out so nice. And I used some effects for octavizing and so forth like that. And again, one sample from Kathie, and then I use Melodyne to create the map with multiple samples. There's all these samples from G5, G4, G3, D, 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 and B. So all the Gs. Even this. The only sample I had from Kathie, I believe, was there. And then I used fragments from Arturia and some other tools to turn it into the Kathie Choir. It's lovely.
You did incredible work.
Oh, well, I had incredible audio samples from you to work with, so it worked out very nicely. So we all get the benefit of having these wonderful sounds to play. And then the other thing we did, and next Halloween we might revisit some of this, but there's these chants. And I had this idea of, because in Creature S for Omnisphere, we had, Kathie said whole phrases, you know, or death, or, you know, all these, death. Remember that?
Yes.
Because Kathie is definitely got creature in her, as we can.
I am a creature.
She's creature. But for this one, I thought, what if syllables? Because that way we could like play it at different tempos and so forth. And so we actually did 4 passes of the syllables, from a whisper. Like if I come over here to the chants, right here, where's, is it under phrase, I think? Yes, so the light. Lantern, just pay the price, creature. And then the dark is with her talking voice. Creature, painful, pitchfork, scary. So we have actually 2 tracks that she did for these. Serenity, twin flame, you. And then I put them into stereo with the light on to the left and to the right. So. Pain, UNIFY. Can you lower the pitch, chant, and octave? Yes, you can. I believe I didn't put a knob to do that. I should have done that. That would have been good. If you want to do that, here, I'll show you how to do that. So right click on macro knob 19 and go over here to the full range. And then there's 2 ways to do this. Let's do it the easy way. And that's to open up each of the Guru samplers and then click the ear and move the course button. So there's 1. Go over here, hit the Guru ear again. Anytime you turn on the Guru ear, you can go to your plugins and move any parameter and it will grab it. So now they're here. That's great. Why didn't I do that? Oh, I guess I got pitch bend. You can use pitch bend, but this lets you take it down, 3 octaves. Or up 3 octaves. Right? And if you want, one extra power tip is to right click in the curve and say load curve preset. And we have different curve presets. This min max with middle gap is one I designed so that in the middle, when you get close to the middle, you know how you don't want it to be so you have to be precise. So this gives you a chance to not have to be precise. And then you can right click and say copy curve shape, go to the other one and paste curve shape. And now when you get close to the middle, you're going to be back at the 0 point. So it's all set to work. Yeah. What do you do for mastering the final track? Do you outsource or do you use your own mastering tools, Kathie?
I just answered where now I'm really starting to play with the whole Logic update. It's really good.
If you use Logic Pro, they have a new mastering module right here you can click. And you play the track and it will analyze it and then give you parameters to work with. It seems very nice. It does introduce latency, which is why they have a little knob for those of you using Logic You can turn this on and off. If you turn this off, see there's latency in my voice now because it's using the higher power DSP processors. But I can turn this, now I'm really processed and masterized, but I can turn this off and now I'm no longer, because sometimes when you listen to the mastering chain, it's pretty radical what it's doing to the sound. For myself personally, and it's on Black Friday sale, I like to use this plugin called the God Particle. It does a really cool all-in-one limiter, EQ. I have Ozone, and sometimes I'll go through and put up a whole chain of 8 things, and other times I just want to call something up that makes it just sound a little bit fuller. And God Particle does that really nicely. I use it when I'm sampling too. It does a really nice like strength conditioning to the audio that I'm recording. So there's all sorts of different ways to use it beyond what it was just designed for. But have you in the past, did you, you've never used an outsourced mastering, you've done it all yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the mixes are just scary. I mean,
oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, I've heard a couple on big speakers, and the low end control you came up with is just wonderful. It's great.
Oh wow, my gosh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's good stuff. Awesome stuff. I'd love to see a webinar on mastering a full track. Interesting. Okay, well, there's something to think about. I was waiting for a like list. I will try to use it in the way of the... Oh, Barbara Gaskin. Yeah. I love Barbara Gaskin. Dave Smith and Barbara Gaskin is a group. I don't know if they've got any recent tracks out, but Dave Stewart is just a wonderful musician. So there, I showed you how to lower the chant, pitch, and octave. Yeah, that's awesome. Any other questions while Kathie is here? I want to get on to, we'll talk Black Friday deals here in a few minutes, but I want to make sure we have all the time. If you have any questions and stuff, she's here to answer, and it's fun to spend some time. Let me see what else is happening there. What else do you have coming up? What's next for you?
I mean, right this second, I'm sort of waiting on a few things to see if any things that are up in the air confirm. But meanwhile, I'm always pushing myself to grow.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. That's the spirit. That's what it takes. You can, no matter where you are, you will see that there's people above you and ahead of you that you want to catch up to and you inspired to be with. I mean, how do you make the maps? Oh, they're talking about technical stuff. So that is, for UNIFY, there's a couple really cool free pieces of software. There's actually a video on the YouTube channel here on getting samples into UNIFY. So please watch that. I'll put it into the video description when I'm not doing a live stream. But there is a video about, it's Bjorn, look for BJOERN is his first name, Bjorn, and then say Endless Wave. And here, I'll find the website really quick. BJOERN, Endless Wave. And you'll find his website right here. This is Bjorn, and you can go to the start page. He has a wonderful looping tool that's one of the best out there. But this is called Sample Mapper. And it is a wonderful tool. And he created in the preferences, there's a checkbox to make a UNIFY format of SFZs. And I'll be doing more support on that. I'm going to show the whole process because there's a few important steps. But there are videos already talking about that on the YouTube channel. But I'm going to make one more and try to distill it all into one video. So yeah, that's where you can make your sample maps. Any recommended sites that you use to promote your work? How did people hear about you and find you? Or I think part of help was you were in the studio, so you met some people when you were in LA that had the companies that were doing this and started the relationships there, right?
Yeah. It's it's a sort of a one foot in front of the other process, and then relationships get created, then some relationships go away, other ones come in. There's no one way to do this. Just this one thing. I know a film trailer composer who's in South Africa. He never has set foot in the US, and he's got a nice career.
Right.
But it was all by trial and error, going to like trailer composer forums on Facebook, if that's what your thing is.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's the key though is relationships, right?
Yeah.
You need to find someone that has the access to take what you create and put it in the eyes of editors, people that are creating the trailers and so forth. Because once they know you're available, and it's especially if you've really kind of like given yourself this really specific what you do, people know, oh, this sounds like a Talbot kind of track. We want to do something with kind of cool, quirky, but yet it's gonna like kick you in the pants. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it changed a lot this year because I was told by the guys that represent what I do, they said, start singing on your tracks. Just using your voice more.
Right.
So they said, this can separate you a little bit.
Right. Because
I'm finding that every 2-3 years I have to totally reinvent. It's really quite something.
Yeah.
But I like this, doing this and putting the voice in there. And
yeah. Well, I think,
covers.
that's an ace in your pocket because it's your voice. It's like you can buy libraries of your voice. That's what Vocalesque is here for, to get you some of a little bit of Kathie. But it's like AI. You're always moving forward. AI is kind of like a stamp in this going backwards. If we were talking about what it can reference, and you're always pushing yourself forward. So
yeah, have to. You got to stay current.
Yeah. So that means listening to music. It means you listen to current music, right?
Oh yeah. I listen to so much different kinds of music. So many genres.
So that's something I want to really put in a lot of your ears, because a lot of people I talk to are stuck in a certain genre of music and it's all they listen to, and don't do that. You want to listen to everything and appreciate everything and be able to find things that you can create, because if you're moving forward, people are used to hearing those elements, right? So
yes. Yes, sí, como no.
Thank you, Machine Storm. I appreciate that. Yeah. I even put it into the email message. It's like, stop buying new plugins. Feed your existing plugins you love new sounds. That's what this is about, because half of the key is just learning your tools, right? You've gotten better as you've gotten more confident with what you're working with.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I still need to push myself harder.
Right. Well, we all do. I mean, that's a given. But there's a lot of times we get this thing of, if I buy this new plugin, if I buy this new instrument, this is going to be the one that's going to really give me my signature sound. And you're chasing down the Alice in the Wonderland rabbit hole, I mean.
Yeah. By the way, I just watched a documentary last night about, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with who Jay Dilla was. Jay Dilla, a hip hop producer. Oh my God, these people it's a new documentary on Paramount Plus. The choice is yours. But what's so magnificent, and this is the 50th year of hip hop, that I've watched a lot of documentaries this year. These people have nothing. They had nothing. A turntable, a record player. Yeah. It's just fascinating, the incredible music they've created from nothing.
Yes. Yeah.
Something to.
It's deep and inspiring at the same time, because that's a cool level of that's why the hip hop albums and the jazz albums, that's what they would use as their plugins per se. Their instruments were samples.
Yeah.
because that's something they didn't have to necessarily pay for because they had the albums or an album's cheaper than, you know, $2,000 synthesizer in the 80s. So
70s.
70s.
Wow. It started in 72. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy. Every day is a school day. Right on, Jim. That's right. Yeah, nice. What genre or style? I have always had plans to do a song in this style eventually. Well, trailer music, it kind of borrows from a lot of genres. It's more, I think the thing that makes it trailer-esque is the hits, things like that, which we have in our Renegade library, by the way, for those of you wanting something to get you into this domain. The Renegade library has the hits and the sweeps and all the cool sound effects, because Bob Deda also does cinematic trailer music as well. So he created a toolkit library. So if you need that type of stuff, that's a good place to look on our website for UNIFY. But yeah, you can put almost any genre into cinematic music, and the more unique you are with it, but still putting things that are the trailer, you know, the big hits and stops and that kind of stuff, I think you can get some unique things happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, I'm just glad to be here, and
Yeah, I'm glad you're here too. This has been
nice.
very fun. Yeah. Any questions from anybody before we have to say goodbye?
Adios.
Adios, señorita. Yes, it's been a nice visit with. Oh, my friend Big E here in Beaverton says it's been very nice to have a delightful visit with Kathie.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm glad we got the audio working. Sorry about that at the beginning. That was, you know,
it happens.
It happens. Anytime I done my checklist and I thought I had everything set and still boo-boos happen. Yeah. It happens. My question is, she has wonderful Christmas songs. I like to buy them. Can I get... Do you have any Christmas songs? I don't think you have. Not well. You have the ones we did together. On
that would be with you.
Yes, if you want to hear some Christmas stuff, on Spotify, I've talked about this a little bit. On Spotify, you can find yours truly, the artist known as Real Cool. That's me, and there is a Christmas album, and there's some songs on there. I don't want to put this in front of Kathie's face. Let's go like this. If you go to the Real Cool Christmas album, there's a number of pieces here with Kathie Talbot. You know, Angels We Have Heard on High, we did. And that song with Ron Howard.
With Ron Howard?
What child is this?
Ron Williams?
Ron Williams. Ron Howard.
Ron Howard, the director. Yes.
Yeah, he sings like unbelievable. No, Ron Williams. He was one of our early friends that I met when I met you. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, incredible singer.
And Coey.
Yes, and then Coey's there. So you can find some Christmas tracks there with Kathie. We should do a Christmas song this year. We'll talk about it. Use all the UNIFY libraries or something like that and have some fun. Okay, well, I'm going to talk Black Friday sales and all that kind of crazy stuff. Thank you for joining me, Kathie. It's really fun to get to introduce you to everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a nice time.
Yes. Well, thank you. And more libraries to come. This is volume 1. There's going to be a volume 2 at some point, so we'll keep going. So, all right, sweetie. Thank you.
Gracias.
Okay. Bye, sweetie. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Such a sweet spirit. I love that woman dearly. She's a dear friend. Okay, well, thank you for sticking around with that. It's been really, really fun. I want to talk to you a little bit, just since it is Black Friday. We do have our sales at our site. By the way, I should do a quick little promo for that. And then we're going to talk about deals that we have found on other sites, because I have some I would like to share with you guys. Why not? Let's see if we go pluginguru.com. I have the Black Friday sale going on. And this library that we were talking about, Vocalesque with Kathie and with ReCycle, are both $19 for UNIFY. UNIFY is $59. If you don't own UNIFY, it is the funnest plugin because it lets you work with all of your plugins. There's a free version of ReCycle version, the light version, available for UNIFY. Let me get this over here. And if I am on this instrument track here, I should be able to go over here and get show MIDI to show up and okay. So one of the plugin bundles that's a kind of a no-brainer if you don't have it, I highly recommend this. I would even just go to Universal Audio to pick it up, but Universal Audio, they have a bundle with 8 of their plugins for $49. And I actually bought this myself because I have a lot of their plugins. Like I have probably about $3,000 worth of their plugins because I've had Universal Audio hardware in the past. But they have this, what's called the Essentials Edition, which gives you this wonderful synth that I'll show you in a minute. Their compressors, the Roland Space Echo delay, these incredible tape that let you put all your tracks to kind of like be glued together in a really cool way. Super powerful EQ for $49. It is a no-brainer. The other one I want to point out, and I haven't bought this before because it was always $200, but because of it being Black Friday, if you come down here, you will see that the Mini Moog is available and it's on sale for like $49. And I've loaded it, and I can tell you without a doubt, it is the most accurate Mini Moog model I have played on my computer. So if we go Mini Moog, here's the Mini Moog. Let's do this. Let's call up the Universal Audio, and there's so many different Moog versions of plugins, but let's say go one more layer. Let's call up some Softube. They have the model 72, which I really like the personality of this. Although now that I've got, let's do this. So here's model 72. It's a great vibe. Right here, this envelope filter decay. Check this out. That shape is not Mini Moog. It's not the right shape. And so when I got the Universal Audio, can you hear that? There's a different shape to it. Also, the overload, if you turn on the overload, you can get to this place where you hear the overload effect. I have a Moog Voyager behind me, and you can do this where you take the headphone out and you run it to the audio input so it feeds back on itself. You can do this inside of the Softube as well, but it let's do this. Hear how the shape it's. I used to own a Mini Moog, right? It's a nice shape. It's like, well, it's bright and it's snappy, but it's not the same. And when you turn on the overdrive, it overdrives way too soon. Even this amount right here, you can't play octaves. If you try this on the Universal Audio, I'm at 6. I can. Up here it starts to fall. And this is only 2 oscillators. Let's turn on the 3rd oscillator. It's a killer. And people have said, well, can you make this polyphonic? And it's a shame they didn't make it polyphonic. It's like, well, the mini Moogs, it's supposed to be monophonic. Let's make it not quite so huge. And then check this out. Inside of UNIFY, let's say goodbye to the soft tube. I think we've kind of like shown where it falls apart. Let's say new MIDI effect, an empty layer, and let's put a poly box. And actually what you can do is you can go over here and say replace from layer and go down here and say polybox 8 layers. What this does is it sets up polybox, which is a really cool plugin we added to UNIFY, that each time you play a new note, it goes to the next MIDI channel. And what makes that really powerful is UNIFY. It's very easy, and we even put in the steps. So you make a new MIDI effect at the top. You go over here and you say, listen to MIDI effect 1 and change this to MIDI channel 1. And then you go over here and you say, duplicate this 7 times. Each time it makes a duplicate, it goes to the next MIDI channel. And just like that, it's now made 8 of the Universal Audio Mini Moogs, and now I have an 8-voice polyphonic. And if you don't like the sound and you want to change it, hold down Option, click Init. And what that does is I had Shane program it in so when you hold down Option and you click Init, it saves layer 1. And it saves the master effects. And then if you had auxiliary effects, it would save them too. But for the instruments, it gets rid of everything but whatever is in layer 1. And then bypass polybox, go over here. Let's have it have a little decay. Do like a brass thing. That's going to sound really cool. So I have the sound that I want. Turn back on polybox. Go over here. All you have to do is say duplicate 7 times. And now I'm back with that new sound. Oh, I want to add auxiliary effects. Hold down Option, click Init. Now let's go over here to add an auxiliary bus to reverbs. Let's say like maybe a nice natural string hall. And let's bring up the auxiliary send. Because I haven't bypassed polybox, only every 8 times does it cycle back to MIDI channel 1. That's why you bypass polybox. A little bit less overdrive. That's better. Turn back on polybox. Go over here, say duplicate 7 times. And now I have, because I made it just 1 layer, I could set my reverb send how I wanted. And now it did it to all 7 additional layers automatically when it duplicated it, because it duplicated that setting. So now, and here's another cool shortcut. Let's say we go over here to layer 1 and I want to change the reverb, right? And in the old school days, we still have to do this. So we want to say, give us a range for instrument 1, auxiliary send, boom. And I want maybe the max to be about here, right? I'm just assuming that. Now, in the old days, what we would do is you would then go over here and 7 times you would say duplicate plus 1 layer. But there's a new shortcut on the block that we added in 1.10. Right here, duplicate links to all layers. And what it does is it looks at any assignment to the macro knobs, and if it sees additional layers that have the same hook available, it'll put it in there. So if I say duplicate to all layers, just like that, boom, it did that automatically to all 8 layers. So now this knob is changing the reverb from no reverb. Right? So, yeah, you can make a polyphonic of any monophonic synthesizer inside a UNIFY just from the Polybox plugin. And what's fun with this is that one of the cool things with like the OBX plugin that we have where each oscillator could be panned, we can now do that here. We can just go here, change the pan settings. And if you wanted to get really into crazy stuff, each of these layers could be a completely different plugin, or it could be different settings. Like let's have this setting be a little bit brighter with a little bit more resonance. And let's have this one have even like different octave settings. Let's trade places for those and make this one even brighter. So now 2 of the layers you hear the differences? And let's have the 8th one all of a sudden have the 3rd oscillator turned on and it's up really high and it's a little pulse wave. And I like that setting, so I'm going to hold down Control and Shift, and I'm going to click number 8. That copies the setting of that particular plugin, and I'm going to go to number 2 and hold down Shift. So now 2 of the layers have that octave thing, and so now. Right? Hopefully you guys got sound so you can hear that, right? I'm just thinking, oh no, my audio's not working again, but I think it's working. So anyway, so UAD plugins are really, really great. Highly recommended for the bundle. Let me show you on, let's go over here to ReCycle to one of the drum grooves. Yeah. So let's go over here. Let's go quick load and say Universal Audio. I now have lots of Universal Audio plugins, but the DBX 160. Let's go to their where's the EQ that they have? Galaxy Tape Echo. This is really fun. Really, really fun to play with. There's different types of. Bring up feedback. This is in the bundle. Also, the compressor limiters that they have are in the bundle. So if we go over here and we say Universal Audio, the LA2A compressor is just wonderful. Get that snap. Set it to limiter if you want. High pass filter if you or not. Here's without it. Let's see. See how it's nice and flat. Now it's got sound. I mean, I have way too many plugins. Universal Audio plugins are unique to the processing world. They work so nicely. Wonderful stuff. So, what are your favorite 5 or 10 plugins? You know, I'm really hesitant to get into like my favorites because I use plugins in a very different way than most of you guys because I'm using them for sound design purposes, more than for mastering songs and mixing and stuff. I really like the God particle just because of how easy it is and how good it sounds. Like, check this out. Let's go here and call it the God particle. Just check out what it does to this groove. just turn it on. And it always puts this a little bit too high, so I think it's about 3 dB. Without it. Wait, here. Where's my bypass? Do they have a bypass button? I don't know if they have a bypass or not. I could do it here, but it's without. Just bigger, louder, got the right thump. When you're using it on a mix, it sounds great. So I'm a big fan of that simplicity. You know, it just does its thing. Another plugin I picked up that I've wanted for a long time during the Black Friday sale is GFORCE, GUL-FOSS from Sound Theory. This is really interesting in that it has the ability. Well, here, let's do this. Let's use this on a mix. Let's go over here to like maybe one of the dance tracks. BPM split. Like this. And let's just call up. So basically what this has is it has a recover. Hear how it's simplified it. You can also have a tame button for certain frequencies to tame. I'm overdoing it so you can hear the result. That's too much, so we'll bring it down. And my signal's too hot too, probably, so I could hold down Option. It also has this really cool boost, which does, like, to the left is focusing on treble. This way it's more on the bass. So you can use this. Let's hear a little before and after. Here how it's kind of flat. It just adds this wonderful sheen to the mix. So it's on sale. It's on a Black Friday sale. If any of you have, yeah, it's great on guitars to smooth them out and soften them and stuff like that. If you guys have other things that you have found in the sales, please feel free to share them, because you know everybody's always looking for deals, and this is the biggest deal weekend of the year as far as plugins. Because I don't know about you, but I've gotten email from like 90 companies. Everybody has a sale going on, right? So if you have something that you really have found, share it with the group. Let us all know, because we have a few minutes left to have free time. Oh, Novum. Yeah. Novum would be a great thing. Is it on sale? Let's see. Novum. Let's see. Oh, Novum's not on Black Friday sale, as far as I can tell. Dawson stuff, they haven't started any Black Friday sale. Novum is one of my favorite synths, but it's not on a Black Friday sale at the moment that I know of. Maybe a Plugin Boutique. Oh, look at that. So if you go to the DAW Sounds website, it's not on sale. If you go to Plugin Boutique, Novum is available for half price. Wow. This is great. Novum. Let me show you guys Novum for those of you that don't know it. We did a library for Novum called Dream State. So we'll call up one of these patches. One cool thing with, oh wait, this is the version where I've sampled it out. So let's do this. Let's replace this with Novum. This is a plugin that's a granular synthesizer. So when you call up these patches, it's doing really interesting things to a single sample. So you can make all sorts of really cool and then after this you can go to the synth parameters and there's filtering and resonance. There's a wonderful comb filter. So I use this, and actually if you go to the user, let's see, if we go to this bank, this should show, no, is it just user? Yeah, these are the patches that I created that are included with Dream State. These are my samples put into Novum, and then I sampled it out and made a library just for UNIFY where I sampled, that was which one? That was the Flute in the Trees, I believe, right? Flutes in Trees. So if we go over here and we find Flutes in Trees, there's a version of it that I made for UNIFY where it's the sample, I think it's just a single sample. Oh, no, I multi-sampled these. Can't remember what I did. But I made the maps into sample maps. But I also gave you the patches in Novum format. So if you own Novum, you have these really cool things you can call up in the user category that are cool stuff. I mean, have some fun. So that's a great synth. And it's, I didn't know, I didn't find it on sale, but yeah. Yep. Yeah, Tim Dale, right? Saving you money, but you're still spending money, right? But Novum is a fun one to play with because you can take any audio, sample something out from some other library, and then feed it into Novum and see what you get if you're trying to go for... yes, UHI has a wonderful sale, so if you don't have Diva, we have a number of libraries. Fred Nongat has done a number of libraries. I will give you a hint. There was a Christmas library we did that he did last year that was for Diva. It's coming back. So if you don't have Diva, I would suggest getting Diva because then you can play these cool libraries for Diva that are amazing. Diva's a great synth. It's really, really great. Yeah, for experimental sounds and stuff, Novum is a fun place to go for sure. Especially if you take something like this, and then I'll tell you one of my favorite plugins is from Arturia. Fragments is just a joy. I love what this does to sounds. Even this. Let's say go to UNIFY. So it's just a sawtooth waveform. Then watch what's fragments. It's just doing this crazy octaves. So yeah, it can go some rather deep places. And what's fun with this is it's an audio effect you can put on anything. It's similar to Novum in some respects. It works very differently though, And it does have an advanced page where you can get into all sorts of modulation and things to do parameter-wise to the sound. But you can put this on anything. So you can have a singer singing and then do a separate track where you feed their voice through fragments and then have that play along. So you don't have to like take it and feed it into Novum. You can have any audio be manipulated with this, which is really fun. Oh yeah, Disco DSP Discovery. I don't know if I have that loaded. Yeah. No, I don't have it loaded right now. But yeah, Disco DSP, they are actually the company behind OBXD, which we have inside of UNIFY. They've continued to refine it and do more cool things. But this is a early version. And then Discovery is another, I think that's sample based, right? But again, you hear what Fragments is doing. With its cute little graphics that fall apart. But if I bypass it, just a mellow sound. And it's tempo based, and I believe it's in sync. Or we can test that. Go to ReCycle. Go to one of these cool drum grooves. Say load this into UNIFY layer. Fun things with the ReCycle library are these BPM bass patches. Let's go over here to BPM bass. Let's say Relentless Picker. And so that. Right? And this is one of these where it's using a BPM ARP, right? Using Blue ARP. If you wanted to have some fun, check this out. We'll do this in, we're overtime, but I always go overtime. Let's make this into a wave sequence. So we can say empty MIDI layer. Let's say Blue ARP up here. Blue ARP. And then as I've been showing you guys, if you hold down Control and Shift, and that clicks right there, and then hold down just Shift by itself and click here, I have copied these settings now into that Blue ARP. So I can bypass this, set this to MIDI channel 1, and listen now to MIDI effect 1. And after Blue ARP, let's add Polybox. So we go MIDI standard, creative, Polybox. Let's just say pool of 4 and 1 note. It's just gonna play around and do crazy stuff, right? So let's do this. Let's load, go to the basses. There's all these basses up here. So let's change this to instrument 1 only. And let's say amplify, pickaxe, and synth squared, because squared will really hear. And then because I'm doing it this way, I'm going to manually change this 4, MIDI channel 3, MIDI channel 2. And just like that, I have made a wave sequence where it's playing the 16th note part, but now it's going to cycle. Uh-oh, it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I have to change it so it's listening to the right MIDI channel. I didn't do that part, so let's go over here now. And let's go up here to Polybox and make it even more interesting by making it random. So it's not going to be a cycle, but now it's random. And then let's limit this so it doesn't play in the top part, so I can play chords. Let's say stop at B2. Just right click on the banner up above the layer, and now you can change the key range. And I need to get a little bit brighter so this will. since this is a unified layer with all those bases, you could put a pump house or LFO tool or something if you wanted to get to have it be like a bit more of a glued rhythm. So go preset sidechain 3, about 60%. And then there's noise blocks on each one of these. Let's go up here, bring up noise box. And then let's add one more thing. Let's go to like BPM. Let's go BPM pad, like heartbreaks. Load this into UNIFY and then right click down here so I can bring this up so it's only in the right hand. And I see I've got stopping at C3. So now. Thanksgiving! Liner! Right? So it's very fun. They all work together. That's what UNIFY is about, is the harmonious bringing of all plugins together so you can just have fun with them. Right? So, yay! Yay, yay, yay. Yeah, it sounds like I was gonna go. I'm a little loud, so we hold down Option. Bring down the layers. You know, I mean, it'd take me a minute to go find what keys and stuff for the original, but yeah, that's kind of the vibe. And here's how important effects are. Like the drums, they don't really like stick out, right? It's kind of like all smooth. So let's go over here and say Universal Audio. Let's add that LA2A compressor. Watch what this does. Limit. Just have it really limit it. Hear how that transient sticks out so nice? Here's without it. And once you've started playing with really nice compression, how that just makes it pop so nice. All right, all right. All right, so there you go. Thumbs up. Please send your hearts and subscribe and all that good stuff. And let's do our shout outs. Shout out from, it's really sunny, but cold, Portland, Oregon. Cool. Well, thank you, Kathie, for joining. That was really, really fun to have her on the stream. It was really, really fun to do this library. It was great fun to do that demo song with her. She's just a hoot. Great person. Hello, Sacramento. Yeah, thank you, Lab, my friend. Hello, Cologne. Good to see you. Les in Poland. Yeah. The waves is a dangerous slippery slope. Oh, thank you, Doobs. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's fun to work on. Good to see you, Daniela, in Germany. Thank you for joining. Finland, Texas. Look at that. You guys are all over the place. Did Kathie? Is she here? I don't see if she's here. Mark in Colorado. Cool. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Gregor in Bavaria. Kasaka-san in Japan. Domo arigato gozaimashita. Domo. True Verb. Yeah. That's good stuff. Yeah. Haynes in Germany. Gottfried. Of course. Good to see you all. So we will be back next Saturday. Yeah. What a great stream. Okay. Well, good to see you all. Thanks for joining. Don't forget crazy sales going until Tuesday. So feed your plugins that you love sounds. Give them inspiring sounds. There's nothing more fun than getting a library that takes a plugin that you love and all of a sudden brings out a whole new personality you didn't know it could do. That's really, really fun. I think that's really fun. And we try really hard to make each library strongly personalized in a certain kind of costume and so forth, so that you're not buying the same library over and over and over and over again, you know? Ending. Yes. I'm not ending on time. It's almost 2:00. I'm 30 minutes over, but I do like overtime. It is overtime. We did 30 minutes overtime. It always ends up going 2 hours, even if I'm just, like Wednesday. That was supposed to just be an hour, and it still ended up being 90 minutes. So, and plus, for 15 minutes, I was talking with you guys, and there's no sound coming out, and you're still here. So, you guys deserve a prize for that. So, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being there and supporting, and we have a win-win relationship, and I appreciate all of you very much. And we'll see you soon, okay? Have a great creative week, and we'll see you soon.